This is VolcaKnowledge, the podcast where we explore how volcanoes interact across nature, culture, and society. I'm your host, volcanologist Sam Mitchell, and every episode I'll be joined by a new guest to get their unique perspective on the world of volcanoes and geology through the eyes of art, history, media, education, industry, and so much more. If you're watching, thanks for watching. If you're listening, thanks for listening. Remember, you can catch all of our episodes on many streaming platforms. Let's go and meet our guest. Enjoy the episode. There are many places where we may go to learn about things like volcanoes, earthquakes, geology. Sometimes it's within a classroom, sometimes it might be outdoors, but in some cases there are places closer to home that also have places we can go to learn about the natural world around us. One of those places are museums. So I'm very excited today to be joined by Dr. Chiara Maria Petrone from the Natural History Museum in London, and you are live to us from the Natural History Museum. Hi Chiara, thank you for joining us today.
Hello, hi Sam, thank you for inviting. Very excited.
No problem. I'm really excited to have you on this episode of VolcaKnowledge today, because I think the Natural History Museum is something that most people, I imagine most people know about it. Hopefully a lot of people have been to it. But what I think a lot of people don't know is what happens behind closed doors at a museum and what happens behind the exhibits that they see. But before we kickstart into that, I just want to give you a couple of quick fire questions. The first one, what's your favorite volcanic place?
Stromboli.
Stromboli, okay.
In Italy, yeah.
Wonderful, that's a great choice. Have you been there recently?
Yes, in May this year. So yeah, it's the place of my art, basically. Yeah.
Wonderful. And then secondly, a place you've always wanted to visit, a volcanic place.
Iceland, strangely enough, quite close to home, but I've never been there.
Well, it's a great place for a checklist. I think you've hit two fantastic ones that a lot of people would be very keen to see if they could. So what we'll start off with is it'd be great to hear a bit about your background and how you ended up working in the Natural History Museum as a merits researcher.
Well, somehow my history is quite linear, but also very convoluted and very complicated. Linear in the sense that I always want to do research, but the journey to get from Florence, where I studied and I got my degree in earth science, and then I did my PhD in volcanology. So from Florence to the Natural History Museum has been quite complex. So when I finished my PhD, so I went from my degree, geology degree, straight into the PhD in Florence, and then I had like 1 year and a half of postdoc between Japan and Washington DC, where I was at the Carnegie Institution, and then I went back to Italy, to Florence, and there sat a very complex journey made of several, well, too many years of short-term contracts, and I mean, on soft money, and sometimes I had even 2 or 3 contracts on the go to kind of trying to make a living, but I never thought that my career would, or thought to have another path in my career. So I really wanted to do research in volcanology, and I just like hang on until basically at some point I had enough of Italy, and I said, okay, let's look around. And I got a permanent job in Cambridge. So I moved from Italy straight to UK. And then from there, from Cambridge University, where I stayed 4 years, I then got a job here. There was an open position in the Natural History Museum. I applied, got the job. And
fantastic.
Here I am.
And during that whole time, it's still always been volcanoes.
Yes, absolutely. Always volcanoes in very different part of the world. Mexico. Well, I did my PhD on Mexican volcanoes,
Mm.
And I spent quite a lot of time in Mexico, where I even had the opportunity to have a job. But then I thought that actually probably living in Mexico for the rest of my life was not my first choice. Although I really love Mexico, I love Mexican volcano, I love Mexico, and but I thought that probably living there for the rest of my life was not what I wanted. Um, and then I studied volcanoes in Japan, well, certainly Italy, Greece, well, lots of volcanoes.
And amongst all those, you still haven't been or studied one in Iceland.
No, actually, funnily enough, I mean, it's incredible. When I think about this, it's like, how is possible? I really don't know, but I'm going very soon to Iceland, actually,
Oh, wonderful.
in February. Well, that will be holiday, but still, I mean, I can't.
There you go. You're finally getting to tick that one that you've always wanted to
Yes,
go to.
absolutely.
So, in terms of the Natural History Museum, did you realize that, say, a Natural History Museum would have these kind of like strong scientific research positions? I guess you might have done, but did you know specifically that the Natural History Museum had a place for a volcanologist?
Uh, Not really. I mean, I was familiar with the Smithsonian because when I was doing my postdoc in Washington, D.C. at the Carnegie, clearly I had contacts with the Smithsonian.
Hmm.
Uh, so I was familiar with the Smithsonian, and I knew that here in London, in the Natural History Museum, there was research going on, but I didn't know the scale of it, which is impressive. Still now,
Yeah.
when I think it's like, oh my God, this is basically a village, a small city in terms of research. Uh, and yeah, I'd never imagined that my life would then appear as kind of doing volcanology here, which is fantastic. I mean, it's a great place to be, to work.
Yeah.
Um,
Amazing, because like so many, I don't know the stats on the numbers for how many people visit the Natural History Museum on a daily basis, but like you say, I wonder what percentage of people that walk through that door just realize how much research is going on behind those doors that say staff only.
I don't think that I mean, there are about, I think the museum, there are about 5 million people visiting every year. And I don't think many of them realize there is a lot of research going on. Although, I mean, there are a lot of opportunity to meet the scientists, meet us,
Hmm.
uh, and there is a lot of outreach and science communication going on. But I don't know if they realize that part of that outreach and science communication is really kind of fed by the science
Yeah,
going on behind the scene, and also the temporary exhibition. They are all
yeah.
attached one way or the other to our science, and I'm not sure if that people really realize that this is what is happening. And when they see a temporary exhibition or even a gallery, actually,
Okay.
um, there is an involvement of one of us.
So usually, whenever there is one of those exhibitions, it's always tied to some research that is going on at the NHM at that time.
If it, yes, most of the time, yes, but even if it's not specific research, there will be scientists kind of advising and giving the attached to that, working with that exhibition all the time. This is normal. I mean, when I joined the museum, um, in 2011, basically they were kind of they were starting the project to renew the volcano and earthquake gallery. And as soon as I arrived, basically I think after 2 weeks, I was called and say, okay, we need a volcanologist, a scientist, because we are renewing the gallery and we need a scientist to work along us. And I was like, okay, I have no idea how to work in a gallery, but fine, let's do this.
This was something I was really curious about and always have been, is how much inputs, say, do scientists have to the main galleries and exhibitions? Because I first went to Natural History Museum as far from what I can remember, at around 6 years old, and I have this vivid memory of going up that escalator into the Earth for the first time and arriving in the Volcanoes and Earthquakes exhibition. And so, in my mind, it's been there for, well, it has been there for decades, but I guess it is still evolving. It's still changing. I went there in the last year and realized there's already updated pieces. So I guess the scientists do have a lot of input into what goes on.
Yeah, we do because, well, first of all, there will be a kind of accuracy check for
Mhm.
science. Yeah. They don't put things without like us checking that is accurate and kind of well said. But there is also the possibility to kind of, particularly, I mean, for the my experience with the volcano and earthquake gallery, is that the idea was to link that gallery to the school curricula. And so we really designed it on one side with the curricula in mind, but on the other side, kind of to convey a, a clear and accurate scientific message. So using the proper scientific word instead of trying to kind of make more digestible and simple. One example would be like explain what is the difference between magma and lava, and using all the terminology all the way through, or effusive instead of, I don't know, gentle eruption or other things. So using the proper terminology, you explain it, and then you use all the way through, so to make it accurate. And as you said, I mean, yes, there is the possibility also to kind of update.
Mhm.
So currently in the volcano and earthquake gallery, the first thing is like a big screen with the main or the most important, the most recent earthquake and volcanic eruption. And the idea is to update that whenever possible. Then it doesn't happen regularly because we are all busy, but it's possible to update, and
Yes.
it's possible to keep the content really in line with what people know. I mean, the previous gallery, there was the feature of the Pinatubo eruption, uh, which in 1991, which for many people visiting now, it's really remote. It's in the past. They have
Yes.
no idea.
Yes, long time ago. Yeah, so I guess it's something that's quite a challenge, particularly in this sort of field, which evolves and changes so frequently on a yearly basis. There are new events, there are new observations, new advances in the scientific field. So I guess there is a lot of pressure to keep it updated. But like you say, you're all busy because your primary role is as full-time researchers.
Yes, and then I mean, that is one only one gallery. In the museum there are so many galleries. Don't ask me how many. I have no idea. Loads, and you cannot keep all updated. So and then other galleries, they need to be renewed, so that there are new projects going on because the content really need to be updated, or so. And there are no people dedicated to a single gallery to keep really updated, but we do our best. I mean, we do our best, and when I say we, it's not just ours as
Yes.
scientists, but all the museum, all the people working in the museum, the front of house, and the curator, everybody. I mean, we play our part, and we try to do our best to kind of deliver the best possible message, actually.
Yeah. Because something that a lot of people will probably realize is that museums have archives, so not everything that's on display is the entire collection, and the majority of the collection is usually in archive and storage. But beyond archives, there's actually, say, this huge research effort, but it's not research necessarily on the archives. It's you're doing, say, modern projects, you're collaborating with people, and there's a ton of scientific instruments and machines as well down there.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, so a huge part of the collection is really somewhere in the drawer, and nobody will see, I mean, the public will never see it because it's too big. So when you put something on display, you really have to decide uh, to make some priority. What are you going to display and why? Is the best looking piece, is the biggest one, is a piece that has a history? Sometimes all these things can come together, but I mean, lots of other things, they remain hidden. Like I just 2 years ago I went to La Palma to collect beautiful sample from the recent eruption, the 2021 eruption in La Palma, and they are basically in a in a room at the moment, and I hope one day we can display at least some of those because they are beautiful, and there is a story behind this. All the one of the most recent eruption which impacted a lot of people. Still impacting a lot of
Yeah.
people. So there is apart from the value of the object in itself, of the sample in itself, is the history and the attached to that and what it means for the people. Uh, so you have to decide, and a lot of things are hidden, but most of the sample or the specimen in the museum are also used for research from us, from the scientists and the curator in the museum, but also for external scientists. They can ask for loan and they can study. So and also the collection are always evolving. I mean, when I'm going in the field to a new volcano, collecting new erupted sample, then I bring back and they will enter and they will become part of the collection. So it's always evolving material and growing. And clearly there is a kind of a lot of pressure for space at some
Yes.
point. And as you said, yes, we have wonderful lab. I mean, our lab, I would say they are the best.
Well, I've not had the pleasure of actually seeing the labs yet, but
I,
I know the instruments and the machines down there are really world
yes, I
class.
mean, we have really a wonderful lab, very well equipped, and with fantastic people running the lab. Always helpful, very knowledgeable, and very, I mean, up to date. I mean, with
Yeah.
the new development in the field. Um, I'm very lucky, actually. I mean, I've for my job and for my research, basically, I need to collect the sample, and when the sample are here, I can do all analysis that I want, just like working. Well, I mean, it's a big museum, so I have to work a bit far,
Yeah.
but still in the same building.
Yeah, because a lot of people don't always have all of the tools and the facilities
Yeah.
that they might have in their own university department. And so they either have to travel or collaborate and send samples to people such as yourself. But it's great to have everything at your fingertips.
Oh, yes. I mean, you should come and visit one day
Okay,
and show
I
you the
will.
lab because actually they are really fantastic.
Yeah, I'm sure I can find a project somewhere that will
Yes.
allow me to come and use something. But I think you just hit a really nice point there as well. Is the variety of jobs that are behind closed doors? It's not just scientific researchers, but there's so many other people that are involved to make scientific research happen in this museum. So I guess you have your technicians, you have your curators, you have your archivists. Maybe less so in geology, more for the biological side, and sample preservation and conservation as well.
Oh, yes. I mean, absolutely. So, with such a massive collection that is growing and evolving all the time, the curator, our fantastic curator, they really play a big part. I mean, they couldn't be a museum without curators,
Mhm.
and we couldn't do science without them because they know the collection. They can they can guide you, and when you ask a question, say, I want to study this because I want to tackle this problem, they really help you to find the best specimens.
Mhm.
Uh, so curation is a big part, but also, I mean, conservation. We have a big team in conservation. Uh, they are helping so they facilitate the science, but also they facilitate all the exhibition and all the preservation of this specimen. A museum is made of specimen, but also people that care about them in all
Yeah.
possible sense, and they also study them, and um, and the other people that actually kind of put the sample outside in the external world and talk about the specimen. So all the people in the front of house, the science communicator, all these people are really fundamental for the life in the museum.
VolcaKnowledge is proud to be sponsored by John Wainwright & Co. through Wainwright Aggregates, and Brunton, Wyoming, making the world's most reliable compasses, professional transits, and navigational tools. Since founding in 1891, John Wainwright & Co. are one of Southwest England's largest independent quarrying companies. As well as extracting and processing premium basalt from their quarry in Somerset, they produce construction materials and operate a successful contracting division. Let's hear from some of their employees.
Hi, my name's Darren. I'm the quarry manager at John Wainwright's. So we supply various types of aggregate into the construction industry. That can go into for uses in asphalt plants, concrete plants, general road construction, civil engineering projects. So I sort of came into the industry as an 18-year-old. I've seen a job advertising in a local paper for a trainee lab technician within a quarry within the industry. And sort of 30 odd years later, I'm sort of the quarry manager at John Wainwright's. So as a young person coming into the industry, there are varying types of roles that you can come into. It's not just operational based. So what I enjoy about my role is the sort of the variety that it gets. My day can be planned in the morning, but that can go sort of out the window within the first hour or so. Some of the misconceptions about the quarry is that sometimes it's just a big hole in the ground, but from sort of day one, the restoration plan's in place. So these quarries, they become natural habitats, they become nature reserves, they become reservoirs, so for the future public to enjoy in the future.
I think my favourite room inside the Natural History Museum, but besides, of course, the volcanoes exhibit, is, I can't remember the exact name, but I think it's in the Darwin building, the far wing,
Yeah.
and it's just the rows and rows and just all the rooms behind glass doors of all the biological specimens preserved in, I'm guessing, various alcohols and various
Yes,
other
yeah, spirit
preservation.
collection.
Yeah, the spirit collection. And you can just see that just goes up and up and up and back. But when you look at it, you realize how much those have to also be updated, because there's notes in them, but I know they also have to be updated sometimes, because maybe, say, what they were preserved in at the time, now 150 years later, actually probably needs to change.
Oh yeah, absolutely. I mean, there is a lot of work going on to preserve all the specimens. I mean, clearly rock, they need
Yeah, rocks are
less.
easy.
Yeah, they don't need that much maintenance. I mean, to be really honest.
They've been around for a few million years. They
Yeah,
can
I
deal with
mean,
a few hundred.
as much as we love them, but they can survive without us. But all the spirit collection, they really need to be preserved and cared and checked all the time. And the butterfly, the insect, all these sort of very delicate specimens, I mean, they really need to be preserved and look after. I don't want to say on a daily basis, but probably on a quite frequent basis, because I mean, what if there is like a moth infestation,
Yes.
or that they will be completely destroyed, and which is like one of the pest control is a big thing in the museum. We all need to play our part. Be
Right. Okay.
careful where, I mean, we have dedicated place where we eat. You cannot just going around and eating in any.
Okay.
So it's a kind of very different environment. You need to be more aware of the space around you.
Yes, I guess it's literally potential biosecurity biohazards. I'd say
Yes.
less for the rocks, but even there might be some samples in there that we don't want to be
Yeah, I mean,
contaminated.
there is also, I mean, even for mineral, there are all the radioactive minerals that need to be preserved in a different way and cared for and secured. Specimens that have value are kind
Yeah.
of really valuable specimens for whatever reason.
Yeah.
Because they are rare, because they are unique.
Yeah, I guess you see that. I guess if you go into, say, the Gems and the Minerals Hall, which is one of the public
Yeah,
exhibits, and there's so much in that room, but I think everything is covered and sealed. And I guess most people would think, oh, well, that is just for security and to make sure people aren't just picking out their favorite minerals, and I'll have that bit of fluorite.
yeah.
But also, some of those materials are actually hazardous.
Well, some of them are, but they are not on display
Right. Okay.
because that would be a problem. But I mean, even if you think some of the specimens, I mean, the very fibrous one, they need to be kind of closed, because if you touch and they broke, they might be very hazardous.
Yes.
So there is no radiative material on display, but there may be
Okay.
some piece that they can broke and they can be dangerous. So I don't know. Even the obsidian can be very sharp, for
Yes.
example. But yeah, I mean, you mentioned the mineral gallery, which actually it's one of my favorites. Second only to volcano and earthquake, of
Yes,
course.
of course.
But and that's a kind of a old concept. If you want, it's an old gallery, which
Mhm.
really it is, and also with a very old concept with all these cabinets, like row and row of cabinets, one behind the other, all aligned with all the classification of mineral, which is kind of a very old concept of systematic, uh,
Yes.
which probably we don't do any longer, unfortunately, but still has a lot of value. Kind
Yeah.
of classify things, dividing things, and kind of make sense of the complexity of the natural world of our life in general. I mean,
Yeah.
everything is very complex, and I really love that gallery because you can see all these thought kind of people that dedicated their life to classify minerals.
Yeah. There's a lot of
Which
work that
now
goes in.
we are so busy and so rushed away, probably very few of us will spend time to really dedicate our life to a single mineral or single class of mineral to really classify them, or a specific thing. We are just like too busy.
Yeah.
Life is too hectic.
There's a real history of careful, meticulous hard work that's
Yes.
gone into that room, and a lot of it is not very modern.
No, but it's still, I mean, for me, it's really, really fascinating.
Yeah. Oh, I guess what I mean is, I guess the premise of when it was collected and formed together is quite historical, but
Oh, yeah.
what it actually is timeless.
It is, and then you walk through the gallery, through all these cabinets, and then at the end you have the vault with the best and beautiful specimen, precious one, which
Yeah.
is just amazing. I mean, it's a beautiful gallery, and even the building here is a cathedral.
Yeah.
Uh,
It is. It's
and the
beautiful.
and the big room of the mineral gallery really give you this sense of authority and kind of almost religious thing.
Yeah.
You enter in something that is kind of, yeah, a sort of, well, really religious. You enter with care and with the idea of really, this is kind of the church of knowledge, if you
Oh, I
want.
like that. You've just created a wonderful soundbite there. The Church of
Great.
Knowledge. So yeah, I guess that's something else is how often, say, do you just go for a walk around a museum, because you've worked there for a long time, but do you still get that feeling when you walk around some of these rooms and places?
Oh yeah, absolutely. I mean, particularly when I arrive in the morning,
Mhm.
which the museum is very quiet. There are no people around, and it's a magical experience to enter in the museum, which is kind of pretty much empty.
Yes, I
And
know
you
if
can, yeah, and you can really look around, and you can really suck the atmosphere of this place. I mean, which is beautiful.
yeah. Do you get to do that frequently, or is it normally just when you're walking in? I guess I wouldn't know. Do you have a staff door on the outside, or do you have to walk through part of the museum to go to your
So we have
offices?
the staff entrance is on the side on Exhibition Road. So I kind of enter, well, I pass underneath the globe. So every
Okay.
morning I kind of salute the volcanoes and earthquake gallery, and then I work from there. So I do have a bit of journey through the public space.
Yeah.
Um,
Well, it's nice to know that that's still not taken for granted, walking
No,
through
no,
that place.
absolutely. I mean, I don't go very often to into the main hall because it's not on my route to the office. But when I do, I always like, oh my God, this is amazing.
Yeah. Do they ever have opportunities, say, where you are or members of the team are placed in the exhibits almost to kind of provide little mini talks? As such, I've always wondered that if sometimes, say, is one of the people there actually like one of the undercover scientists or researchers, and all of a sudden they're going to explode with a little knowledge tidbit.
Yeah, that would be fun. No, I mean there are tours, they are organized tour, and there are people, all the science communicator and the outreach people, I mean, the purple jacket people.
Yeah, so yeah, these are all your front of house people
Yeah,
as
the
well
front
who
of
also.
house. They are really there to explain things and to give you
Yeah.
a overview of things. And then there are things like sort of meet the scientists.
Ah.
So the nature life talk in the TV studio, because there is also a TV studio in the museum, small one, the Attenborough studio,
Oh yes.
which happen like I think 2-3 times a week, lunchtime. They were a bit more. They were more frequent. Now they are less frequent, which is a shame because it was a good thing. It was
Yeah.
really, and people love it, and so there was the opportunity to meet different scientists. I mean, like meteorite people working on meteorites, paleontologists. I don't know. Um,
Anything.
Anything. I mean, we are so many that I didn't even know what sort of science.
Yes, I guess that's one of the problems of being in somewhere that's got so much going on. You sometimes don't always know what everyone is doing.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, sometimes it's like, oh, this is very interesting. I didn't know. I mean, I know that there was somebody doing this sort of thing, but yeah,
Not the
there are so many
details.
things. Yeah, uh, and it's fascinating. I mean, you can have really wonderful conversation with a colleague about anything on the
Yeah.
natural world.
Yeah, so I guess how big is the volcanology petrology sort of team?
Okay, so the volcanology petrology team is quite small. Uh, it's basically myself and three other colleagues, which are mostly in the lab, and then I have five PhD students. So it's not too big, but there are other groups that are way bigger, like the planetary science and meteoritic group that is
Right, okay,
way
that's
way
very
bigger.
big.
Um, the yeah, and then there is also the life science bit,
Yes.
uh,
But
paleontology, life science, mineralogy. Yeah.
but as we said before, you do a lot of collaboration as well. So even
Oh
though
yes.
you're a relatively small in-house team, the amount of research that's facilitated by the museum is actually huge.
It is huge. I mean, I collaborate a lot with colleague in various university based in London, but also in UK in general, and outside UK. As a museum, we have a big cohort of students, so the PhD student is quite large. I think there are about 200 PhD students in total. And even if we are not a degree granting institution, so we need to be always attached. Any project for us need to be attached to a university. But for many of these students, we are primary supervisor. And they spend most of their time here in the museum, working in the lab, working with the collection. And we are part of several PhD consortium, the DTP, the doctoral training program, or DLA now, the new form of the PhD consortia. So we are part of several because of collaboration, and there are really, I mean, the students' representation here is really big. We have also a graduate center,
right? Okay,
which take care of the student, and they are all the students here in the museum seems quite happy. Probably shouldn't say this, but you need to ask the students. But they seems to enjoy to be in the museum, because also they have both part of being, they are attached to university and they have the university life, but they also have the museum life, which also means not only access to the lab and to the collection, but also the possibility to do outreach.
Oh, so they have that. Is that
something? Yeah. I mean,
not required, but almost very much encouraged because of where you are.
It's offered and say, I mean, I'm doing this outreach. When I have an outreach event, I tell my student, I'm doing this outreach event. Are you interested in helping out? And I never had a student say no so far. So
yeah, if they've signed on to do a PhD at the Natural History Museum, it would be surprising to find someone who didn't want to get involved in the museum.
I had students that they were a bit maybe scary, like, oh, I don't know what to say. I was like, I mean, it's very simple. Then I will be there, and you just And then after an hour or so, they were like, oh, this is so nice. I really love this.
Because I think it's important for all of us as scientists to take that, I say step back, but a step into a different frame of wording our science and our research, because the details of, say, what a PhD student might be doing are not necessarily what's, the lay audience need to hear, but there's certain messages and questions, and it might help them reconnect with actually what's the broader overview of what they're actually looking at.
Absolutely. I mean, and it's important also to learn to communicate and really learn to kind of make sure that you know what you're doing and why you're doing, and how to make sure that people understand.
Yes.
Which is difficult. I mean, sometimes we are so wrapped in our little bubble and kind of little research. Oh, this is my PhD. I really need to make sure that I tell things in the perfect way. And then it's get overcomplicated and nobody understands anything. And it's like, but what actually do you do? I don't know. And why you do this?
Yeah, which is why it's really, really important. So there's a couple of takeaways here. I think one, just the variety of jobs and roles that are within a museum. Most people will see the folks who work in, the gift shop, the cafe, security, and maybe a couple of people floating around front of house. And if you maybe see a tour guide, but if they have the opportunity to come and see, like, the talk to a scientist, some of the other tours, but then the number of roles that are going on behind those staff doors to keep research going, I imagine, are there as many, if not more, staff on the research science side of things than there are front of house?
Well, I'm not sure about the proportion. I think as a scientist, we are, I might say, I think we are around, I mean, including the students, we are probably around 400 or something like this. as scientists. And I'm not sure how many in front of us we have, but I mean, there are a lot.
It's a lot.
It's this place really feel like a small city, because I mean there are so many different roles, as you said. I mean, even all the security, and the people running the place. I mean, the building, which needs a lot of maintenance. It's really it's a city. You can find every sort of walk of life and every sort of different job and role here.
Well, hopefully that's something that's appealing to people if they're maybe looking or considering jobs. But I also know you have a very strong volunteering program.
Oh,
as
yes,
well.
absolutely. I mean, our volunteers are really a force of nature. They are really, I mean, they are really great. And there are people that genuinely love this place and they really want to spend time here, which is amazing. I mean, absolutely great.
Amazing. Well, thank you for all of those insights. It's making me want to just kind of jump on the train and come to London now, to be honest. But I have work to do. So another time, hopefully in the not too distant future. So to wrap things up today, it would be really great to hear something that's a volcanic memory for you, something that sticks in your mind, if it's something visual, something you've done for research, teaching, or just even a vacation.
Well, a volcanic memory, it's basically a couple of nights that I spent in a tent, pretty much alone, watching fuego exploding all night, and I didn't sleep. I mean, sometimes I was just dozing a bit, but I was just like waking up, like, yeah, now it's happening, and then I actually really watched a lot of little explosion, and was so beautiful. I mean, just the connecting with the nature and the pure I mean, just the sound of the volcano, being there in my tent open, like just fuego in front of me, was beautiful.
Because how often is that erupting then?
Fuego is one of the kind of very active volcano in Guatemala, and kind of do quite frequent explosion, like a small one just in the crater, probably one every hour or so. Yeah.
Oh, okay. So it's really hard to sleep then when that's happening every hour.
Yeah. Also, I mean, why you want to sleep when you can just keep watching?
It's a couple of days of your life. You don't need to sleep for just those few days.
Yes, you can sleep later. Yeah. There was only one annoying thing. Well, there were a lot of dogs barking.
Oh, you just like, I want to hear the rumbles of the volcano. Be quiet.
Yeah, but they were part of the experience. So
it's part of the atmosphere. Yeah,
part of the atmosphere. Yes, absolutely. No, wonderful place.
Wonderful. Well, there we go. Another place for people to checklist. Well,
Yes.
Thank you so much for joining us today, Chiara. It's been really wonderful to hear those insights, and I'm also excited to next time I see you to hear about your Iceland trip, because you'll be able to tick that one as well.
Absolutely. Thank you so much.
Thanks for tuning in for this episode of VolcaKnowledge. Remember, you can catch all of our previous episodes either through our website, www.volcaKnowledge.com, or you can follow us on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, wherever you stream your favourite podcasts. You can also watch all of our episodes on our YouTube channel, VolcaKnowledge, and don't forget to sign up to our social media channels at VolcaKnowledge through Instagram and Blue Sky. Please leave us any feedback and comments and topics maybe you want to see on a future episode. Thank you for joining, and see you next time.